It was shocking news for Pawn Stars fans when rumors spread that Richard Kevin Harrison, better known as Rick Harrison, had been sentenced to life in prison. Rick, famous for his no-nonsense approach and encyclopedic knowledge on the show, suddenly found himself in serious legal trouble, something no one expected. For years, Pawn Stars entertained audiences with rare artifacts, tough negotiations, and daily drama inside Rick's Las Vegas pawn shop. But now Rick's flourishing TV career has taken a dark, unexpected turn. What exactly did he do to deserve such a severe punishment? Stay with us as we delve into what led to this drastic change in Rick's life and the details of this shocking case. Richard Kevin Harrison, a well-known American businessman and TV personality, was born on March 22, 1965, in Lexington, North Carolina. At just 2 years old, he moved with his family to San Diego, California, where he spent most of his childhood. As a young boy, Rick developed epilepsy at age 8, which caused him to spend much of his time reading books. This contributed to his impressive knowledge of history that would later benefit his career. Rick's early life wasn't easy. His battle with epilepsy meant he often missed school, eventually dropping out during his sophomore year of high school. This setback didn't diminish his ambition. Instead, Rick devoted himself to self-education, devouring books on history and business. His autodidactic approach would later shine through on Pawn Stars with his encyclopedic knowledge. In his teenage years, Rick began working alongside his father in various business ventures, developing a keen eye for value and authenticity. At 17, Rick's girlfriend Kim became pregnant, prompting them to marry. The young couple eventually had 2 sons, Corey and Adam, before divorcing after 8 years. In 1981, Rick's family relocated to Las Vegas, Nevada, where his father, Richard Benjamin Harrison, known as the Old Man, opened the gold and silver coin shop. The business eventually evolved into the world-famous gold and silver pawn shop in 1989, which would later become the setting for Pawn Stars. The transition from a coin shop to a pawn shop was strategic, recognizing the potential for higher profits. The early years were challenging, with Rick and his father working long hours to establish their reputation in Las Vegas. Rick often dealt with difficult customers and dangerous situations, experiences that toughened him and honed his negotiation skills. By the early 2000s, Rick had become well known in Las Vegas for his expertise in collectibles and historical items. Recognizing the entertainment potential, Rick began pitching the idea of a reality show based on the pawn shop. After years of rejection and persistent effort, Rick finally secured a deal with the History Channel. In 2009, Pawn Stars began airing, following the daily operations of the gold and silver pawn shop. The show featured Rick, his son Corey Big Hoss Harrison, his father Old Man Harrison, and their friend Austin Chumley Russell. The show became an instant hit, transforming Rick from a local pawn shop owner into a television celebrity. His catchphrases, straight-talking manner, and extensive historical knowledge made him a fan favorite. Rick's signature line, "The best I can do is," became iconic during negotiations with customers. What set Pawn Stars apart was the educational aspect that Rick insisted on. Each episode included historical context about items brought into the shop, showcasing Rick's vast knowledge. This educational approach appealed to a wide audience, making Pawn Stars one of the History Channel's most successful programs. Under Rick's guidance, the pawn shop expanded its business, attracting tourists from around the world. Merchandise sales soared, and Rick capitalized on his fame by writing books, making personal appearances, and even opening a restaurant. His success catapulted him into a new realm of celebrity, appearing on talk shows and in magazines. Rick's rags-to-riches story resonated with many Americans, and his straightforward business advice gained him respect beyond the entertainment world. As the face of Pawn Stars, Rick was known for his business acumen and steady hand. He often reined in Corey's ambitious purchases or Chumley's occasional antics on the show. His relationship with his father showed mutual respect built from years of working together. After his father's passing in 2018, Rick honored his legacy by continuing to run the business with the same principles. During the height of Pawn Stars' popularity, Rick's personal life also saw many ups and downs. After his first marriage ended, he married Tracy Harrison, and they stayed together for 27 years before divorcing in 2011. In 2013, Rick married Deanna Burdett in a ceremony officiated by Counting Cars co-star Danny Coker, with Chumley serving as ring bearer. Despite fame and business demands, Rick remained dedicated to his family. Beyond the pawn shop, Rick expanded his ventures by opening Rick's Rollin' Smoke Barbecue and Tavern at Pawn Plaza. He also co-authored a book in 2011 titled License to Pawn, deals, steals, and my life at the gold and silver. Always the entrepreneur, Rick continuously sought new opportunities to grow his brand. Throughout his career, Rick demonstrated a remarkable ability to spot value where others might miss it. On Pawn Stars, viewers watched him evaluate everything from historical documents to vintage cars and ancient artifacts. His expertise seemed boundless, but he wisely called in specialists when necessary, showcasing his prudent business sense. Rick has bought and sold many items on the show. Some were great deals while others weren't so good. His expertise in firearms, watches, and American history items often led to successful deals, turning modest investments into significant profits for the shop. One of his most famous purchases was a 2001 New England Patriots Super Bowl ring, which he bought for $2,600 and valued at significantly more. Another notable acquisition was a collection of Spanish gold doubloons recovered from a 1715 shipwreck, showcasing his interests in both history and valuable precious metals. Talking about good things, Rick's life had also faced its share of not-so-good experiences, mainly a result of choices he made. In 2023, his legal troubles began when federal agents raided his Las Vegas home after months of an ongoing investigation. Initially, the public was kept in the dark about the nature of the investigation, leading to rampant speculation online. The raid came as a complete shock to fans and even those close to Rick. FBI agents, accompanied by IRS investigators and representatives from the Department of Cultural Heritage Protection, executed search warrants at both Rick's home and the gold and silver pawn shop. Employees and customers present during the raid at the shop were temporarily detained while agents confiscated computers, documents, and several items from inventory. Rick's son Corey, who was at the shop during the raid, later described the scene as surreal and like something out of a movie. Witnesses said Rick remained calm as agents escorted him from his home, maintaining composure even as neighbors filmed the event. Footage of the raid quickly spread across social media. As details emerged, it became clear authorities were investigating allegations of a sophisticated tax evasion scheme, money laundering operations, and claims of dealing in illegally obtained artifacts. The investigation had reportedly been triggered by suspicious transactions flagged by financial institutions and complaints from former business associates. In the weeks following the raid, the History Channel suspended production of Pawn Stars, issuing a brief statement that they were monitoring the situation. Meanwhile, the gold and silver pawn shop remained open but saw noticeably fewer customers as the legal cloud hanging over Rick began to affect business. Rick's representatives issued strong denials, calling the investigation a misunderstanding. His attorney, David Marshall, a high-profile Las Vegas lawyer known for representing celebrity clients, assured the public that Rick had always operated his businesses with integrity and compliance. However, as the investigation progressed, troubling details surfaced. Authorities claimed to find evidence suggesting Rick had been involved in a complex operation to undervalue historical artifacts for tax purposes. Investigators also alleged Rick knowingly purchased stolen historical items through intermediaries, including documents of significant importance and artifacts belonging to museums and private collections. According to court documents, the investigation had been partly triggered by a former employee who provided authorities with details about a separate bookkeeping system Rick allegedly maintained. Rick was arrested but released on bond the following day and scheduled to appear in court soon after. He faced multiple felony charges including tax evasion, money laundering, dealing in stolen property, and conspiracy to traffic illegally obtained artifacts. His lawyer confirmed Rick vehemently denied all charges and vowed to fight them in court. The legal battle lasted nearly a year, with Rick maintaining his innocence throughout the proceedings. However, as evidence mounted and former associates testified against him, his position grew increasingly precarious. The prosecution presented financial records, encrypted messages, and testimony from employees who said Rick instructed them to alter documentation. They also showed evidence suggesting he had offshore accounts to hide profits from valuable transactions. A particularly damning piece of evidence was a series of text messages between Rick and a supplier discussing how to clean the provenance of an 18th-century document stolen from a university archive. Another exchange involved structuring a sale to avoid reporting requirements. Despite everything, Rick remained defiant in public, making appearances on conservative talk shows and claiming he was targeted for his political views and success. His supporters rallied around him, creating #FreeRick hashtags and organizing protests outside the courthouse. However, Rick hit a low point when it became clear he had indeed broken the law. The arrest report shocked many fans who saw him as the knowledgeable, straight-shooting businessman from Pawn Stars. His legal troubles revealed a more calculating side few expected. Still, supporters emphasized the positive impact Rick had made, creating groups online to offer support and remember the good he had done through the show. One supporter wrote, "Rick taught me to love history in a way school never could." They encouraged others to join online communities and send their support. When Rick's sentencing finally came, the courtroom fell silent. Rick, who had maintained composure, visibly paled. Corey put his head in his hands and Chumlee was seen exiting the courtroom overcome with emotion. The sentence shocked legal experts, many suggesting it was disproportionate to the crimes committed. The judge emphasized that Rick's actions had caused irreparable damage to cultural heritage. "You have participated in the systematic looting and destruction of irreplaceable cultural sites for personal profit," the judge stated. Rick's legal team immediately filed an appeal, arguing the punishment was excessive given the nonviolent nature of the crimes. They requested he remain free on bond pending appeal, but the request was denied. Images of Rick being led away in handcuffs soon dominated news coverage and flooded social media platforms. The public reaction was mixed. Longtime fans expressed disbelief, suggesting there was a miscarriage of justice, while many in the cultural heritage community applauded the severe sentence. Rick's situation inspired an unprecedented wave of fan solidarity, leading to the launch of the Hearts for Harrison campaign. The campaign collected over 100,000 signatures petitioning for a case review, arguing that a life sentence for nonviolent offenses was a form of vengeance, not justice. Organizer Melissa Jenkins stated, "We're not saying he shouldn't face consequences, but he deserves a chance to make amends." Supporters were encouraged to donate to his legal defense fund. Meanwhile, the History Channel quickly moved to distance itself, officially canceling Pawn Stars and removing reruns from the schedule. In their statement, they expressed deep disappointment and affirmed their commitment to respecting historical artifacts and cultural heritage. Despite his legal troubles, Rick's impact on reality TV and the pawn industry remains significant. Before his downfall, Rick had expanded his business empire beyond the pawn shop, opening restaurants and bars across Las Vegas and planning expansions to other cities. The Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, now managed by Corey Harrison, remains a tourist destination, though initially suffering a decline in visitors. Corey has worked hard to rebrand the shop, emphasizing transparency and ethical collecting practices, partnering with museums and educational institutions. In an emotional interview, Corey spoke about preserving the family business while addressing concerns raised during Rick's trial. "We've implemented rigorous new protocols for verifying provenance," he explained. Chumlee, who had always admired Rick, spoke about the difficulty of reconciling the man he knew with the one exposed by the trial. "I learned a lot of good business practices from Rick," he said, "but I've had to accept that there was another side I never saw, or didn't want to see." Though the Harrison family faces a long road ahead, they remain grateful for the support from fans worldwide. "Your messages of encouragement have been a lifeline for our father," Corey said in a recent statement, noting that Rick draws strength from every letter and message received. Supporters have organized Sunday prayer circles outside the pawn shop in solidarity with Rick. Those who cannot attend are encouraged to send letters, cards, or memorable photos from the show that brought joy to viewers. Small gestures mean a lot to Rick during these challenging times. "My father taught me everything I know about this business," Corey recently said. "The good parts of that education are what I'm trying to build on now. We made mistakes, big ones, but this shop has been part of Las Vegas for over 30 years, and I'm determined to make sure it's here for 30 more." Rick's journey has been extraordinary, from a small pawn shop owner to a reality TV star and now a convicted felon. His fall from respected businessman to disgraced figure shows how quickly fortunes can change in the unforgiving spotlight of fame. Commentators have called his story almost Shakespearean. Despite his downfall, Rick's story serves as a powerful cautionary tale about the dangers of success, the temptations it brings, and the blurry lines between shrewd business and criminal activity. As this story continues to unfold, we'll keep bringing you the latest developments. In the meantime, if you appreciated Rick's contribution to television and history, consider sending prayers, positive thoughts, or words of encouragement his way. The Harrison family has created a website for fans to leave supportive messages, which are delivered directly to Rick in prison. Hearing from fans has become Rick's main source of strength during this ordeal. As one family statement put it, "Rick has always appreciated the Pawn Stars viewers. Now more than ever, knowing you're still in his corner means everything to him."